For the first time in our country's history, an actual crook, a convicted con man and thief, is running for president. And while most of us are scratching our heads thinking, how is this possible? Large swaths of the country are motivated supporters. It seems impossible that the Trump candidacy is still afloat, especially with all the sharks in the water. But it keeps going. It should be dead in the water, but the ship sails on. And worse, despite democracy being at stake, there doesn't seem to be the same kind of energy as 2020. Enthusiasm is flagging, and polls show that white female suburban voters are becoming disengaged. 8 years of fighting MAGA has exhausted people, and we need the cavalry. Well, today I'm happy to report that the cavalry has arrived. Up until now, the Rovember movement has been relatively quiet. Don't get me wrong, they have been hard at work, but the media are back to ignoring them. Enter the ninja. A group of Republican women have said enough, and they have produced a blistering ad that is nothing less than a call to arms for every woman in America. This ad is the kind of right on the money, grab you by the heartstrings and stir your soul kind of campaign video that the Lincoln Project, despite their good intentions, have never quite been able to pull off. This ad is powerful, and we're going to take a look at it. But first, it is important to note that this is a growing trend with powerful implications for November. Increasingly, Republican women are starting to see that their conservative values have been thrown out the window and have been replaced with a cult that is intent on not just marginalizing women, but absolutely controlling them and their bodies. The first big dent in the armor of the Trump cult came in June 2022, when 26-year-old Cassidy Hutchinson, an aide in the Trump White House, gave insider details that proved Trump was not only part of the insurrection, but planned on leading the insurrection. A young conservative woman, she came to see that Trump and his cronies had no conservative values at all. The only thing they had was a lust for power and to hold on to it. She was a wake-up call for all conservative women to recognize that bit by bit, they have been seduced to join a cult. Other women within the Trump White House came to the same conclusion. Former White House Communications Director Alyssa Farah Griffin and former White House Deputy Press Secretary Sarah Matthews have each spoken out against Trump and the Trump presidency. Nicole Wallace, a seasoned Republican Communications Director and strategist, also came to the conclusion that the Republican Party has abandoned itself. She has subsequently joined MSNBC as an anchor. Wallace had this to say about Republican women.
I think what our audience expects is that people like you and me sort of own our own role in this, right? I mean, I worked in the Bush administration. Bush appointed Alito. You know, we have some culpability on this. We have more to do to help avenge what has become of a radicalized Supreme Court. And I wonder how much of this is speaking to some of the women who were the decisive vote for Donald Trump in 2016. I mean, they're part of how we got a Donald Trump presidency.
Wallace's question was directed at Tara Setmeyer, a Republican for 25 years who founded the Seneca Project in order to mobilize women to vote for Joe Biden. A skilled GOP operative and communications director, Setmeyer set out with Michelle Kinney, a Democrat, to produce a campaign video that would capture hearts and minds. Let's take a look.
The Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade and ended a woman's constitutional right to an abortion.
We trust women.
There's a threat facing women in America that transcends party lines.
My country doesn't care about me.
And it's time we ask ourselves,
Won't go back.
do we still value the freedoms we have fought so hard for?
We should all have the care that we need.
This election is a choice, and it is a time for choosing. We're told we have to choose between left or right. But we know what the real choice is. It's a choice between our freedom or their control, between our right to determine our own destinies or Donald Trump. So seriously, America, what the hell are we doing? We can't sit on the sidelines while women in America suffer and die because a right we once had has now been criminalized. If we don't make the right choice, there's no state to escape to. There's no going back. Choosing who will shape our future is a right we still have left, for now. And that choice is up to us.
Now, from top to bottom, this is a powerful ad that mobilizes the themes that are getting lost in this presidential campaign. At its core, the ad is a reminder that the radical Supreme Court, engineered by Mitch McConnell and composed by Donald Trump, has tossed out choice, and with it, the health and safety of women in conservative states. As the horror stories mount in Texas and Florida and Idaho of women being denied health care and left in critical condition, sometimes to die, the reaction of most America is, not much I can do. I didn't vote for Cancun Cruz and the other nut jobs who put this agenda in place. Well, this video is a powerful reminder that there is something we all can do. Let's listen to what Setmeyer has to say about it.
Focusing on fighting for freedom and democracy and trying to galvanize other people, now focusing on women, it's to give that permission structure to those women who have been maybe in the Republican Party for a long time, that may have felt that, I'm not trying to be a Democrat. I don't know how I feel about that. It doesn't matter. We're speaking to you. It doesn't matter if you voted for Trump before. It doesn't matter if you voted for Trump twice. Guess what? It also doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican, if you're bleeding out in an emergency room in a state that has criminalized your choice to have proper health care. It doesn't matter. We're all in this in solidarity.
Setmeyer tries to bring home the fundamental aspect of this presidential race. Democracy is at stake here. The Republicans are motivated to elect Trump precisely because he can lead them to the kind of authoritarian state which will allow them to repress the people and groups they do not approve of. At the top of that list is women, which makes you wonder why any woman would vote Republican. But the list goes way beyond that. African Americans, Latinx, and every other people of color, the LGBTQ plus community. I mean, really, what are the log cabin Republicans going to do in November with Donald Trump and Mike Johnson leading this party? And those aren't the only groups. The MAGA movement hates liberals, teachers, scientists, doctors. The list just grows and grows. The Seneca Project is more than just a call to arms for women. It's a call to arms for all these groups. Log cabin Republicans, I'm looking at you. How long do you think it's going to be in a second Trump presidency before you're forced to wear a pink triangle? It's time for all of us to get our groups to mobilize, to get out there and message, and to get our shoes on the ground and in the streets. And we can start today by going to the Seneca Project and sharing that video across the universe. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.